Ready or Not is an incredibly frightening game. Its very nature is meant to unsettle the player. As we progress through the main game's missions, we'll see mass shootings, human and child trafficking, school shooters, and a variety of other really fucked up things that I probably shouldn't be mentioning here. And all of this madness and this pandemonium and pain starts at a gas station. Thank You Come Again is the first mission that we play in Ready or Not, and it's essentially a nightmare disguised as a tutorial level. Upon first glance, the map seems regular enough. However, as we make our way through this level, Ready or Not slowly reveals that we might not be as prepared for all of this as we thought. Never have I seen an introduction in a game set the tone as quickly, and in a title that doesn't really rely on scripted cutscenes or dialogue, that's really impressive. In just a short 10 minutes, the gameplay is able to convey to us all the information that we need to know. This game is brutal. It is merciless, and it is real. We're initially told in our briefing that this situation is a classic robbery gone wrong. Sometime around midnight, a DeBanco money truck came by to make a collection. However, right as employees were emptying the safe, 3 armed intruders entered the store. Now, it's important to note that this gas station is open 24/7, meaning that at the time of all of this, there were still several customers within the building. Being quickly surrounded by police and unable to make their escape, the men have now barricaded themselves inside, taking everyone hostage. And upon our arrival, everything from that briefing is confirmed. Next to the pumps outside, we can see a man who has been shot, who I assume is one of the hostages that tried to get away. Further behind the building, we can see that armored DeBanco truck we mentioned earlier. Its door is still sealed shut though, so it would seem that the intruders' initial plan of robbing it didn't really play out. If we continue to look around, we can find even more things of note, such as a broken DeBanco ATM with a sticker on it that says, "No cash out." On the nearby bulletin board, we can also see a poster for a DeBanco workers demonstration, which reads, "Pickets welcome, no violence." Now, to me, this would suggest that the DeBanco employees are on strike, and as a result, they've been understaffed and unable to refill the ATMs around the city. This same understaffing is probably what led to them being susceptible to an attack like this, as they may have lacked the necessary security staff to prevent a robbery like this from occurring. On the same bulletin board, we can also see an open letter to garbage men, which would indicate that Los Sueños' garbage union might also be on strike. Anyways though, now that we've investigated outside, it's time we work our way inside the building and see this chaos for ourselves. If you walk through the front door, you'll find yourself in the main part of the convenience store, where aside from a suspect or two, we won't find too much of interest. If we continue along the right side of this section though, we'll find a walk-in freezer, and further past that is a small diner. When we make our way through the diner door, we can immediately see a deceased individual. He's been shot several times, and next to his body is a jammed pistol. We can also see where this victim had been sitting, and on his table sits a veteran's hat and a protest sign that reads, "No to the anti-vet bill." Now, through all of this, it's obvious to see that this man was a veteran, and when he saw this chaos unfolding, he decided to try and take matters into his own hands. However, a strike of bad luck would render his weapon useless, and both he and his dog would be gunned down. After we secure this dining area, we make our way into a small hallway where we can see 2 bathrooms and a door back into the convenience store. However, to our left, we find what seems to be a small breakroom area. So for now, let's investigate that. Now, as we work our way through this area, we can see several interesting things of note. The first being a bulletin board immediately when we enter. Now, the board shows several different random pictures and notes, but what sticks out to me the most is a weird photo of a man with chocolate on his face, which says, "Attention, do not serve this man." Now, I'm not really sure of the significance behind this picture, but I thought it was weird, so I needed to mention it. Further into the break room, we can find some lockers, a whiteboard, and some Employee of the Month photos. We can also find a refrigerator with a note on it that reads, "Whoever keeps stealing my sandwiches, please stop. Hasim." And funnily enough, if we go back over to the lockers, we can find another note on Erev's locker, which reads, "Hey, hope you enjoyed that laxative sandwich. Hasim." It would seem that Hasim has gotten fed up with Erev's bullshit and has taken matters into his own hands, which I understand. I mean, don't touch another man's sandwich. This little dialogue is the only levity that we'll find in this mission, though, as when we continue, we come face to face with the corpse of the store manager, who has been shot point blank in the face. Sitting next to him is his ringing phone, where he is receiving countless calls from his wife. Now, seeing this for the first time on my first playthrough was a real gut punch. As you guys probably know by now, Void is sort of notorious for using phone calls as a storytelling device. At different points in the game, you'll see people's phones ringing, knowing that it's a relative of a victim. But when you get to see the actual contact information and the name has a heart next to it, it hits even harder, because through that one simple detail, it's conveyed to us that that woman's never going to see her husband again. And that's really fucked up. This feeling of fuck-uppedness is further solidified when we make our way into the manager's office, where we can see a diploma and a certificate from the US Forest Service. Because that dead guy over there, who's getting calls from his wife, volunteered in all of his free time to be a watchman with the local fire department. This level does a fantastic job of showing us who these people were without us ever seeing them for ourselves. When we see the dead veteran and store manager, we genuinely feel bad for them. Not because they're some random dead characters, but because the game shows us how much they meant to those around them. This point and rant aside though, we can also find the store's safe in this office, which has already been opened and looted. On a nearby whiteboard we can read, "Make sure to empty all of the registers into the safe for tomorrow's pickup." So perhaps the men weren't trying to rob the bank truck itself, but instead knew that its arrival was the only time that the store's safe would be open. And why just rob the store's registers when you can take everything that they've got? In the office, we can also see a phone where a message has been left behind for the deceased manager.
Hi, Mudasir. I got your message about the on-site safe. I am trying my best to get that sorted out as soon as possible. I know the ATMs have been a huge problem, and you know DeBanco's been having a lot of issues as well lately. So give me a call back when you get this and we can talk about that. And there is also the other incident that I want to talk about as well. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Now, I think that this phone call is from the store's owner, as he seems to already know about the issues with the safe and the ATMs. He also says that he wants to talk about the other incident that occurred at the store, which might have something to do with a poisoned sandwich in the break room. But anyways, the owner confirms our theory that the ATMs have been down due to issues with DeBanco, not something isolated to just this store. Aside from all of this though, we still have one last job to do. A young girl named Crystal Layden was separated from her mother during the chaos, and we still need to find out where she's hiding. The only place that we've yet to search though is the kitchen, so we'll start there. While we're looking around in here though, we can see a newspaper that catches our eye, which reads, "Trash Crisis in Los Sueños. Sudden walkout by trash haulers leads to major garbage buildup in 213 Park in the North Hills area." Interestingly enough, we actually have a mission in one of these areas, and when we go there, we can see the massive trash buildup that's mentioned here. On the other page of this newspaper, we can see the title, "DeBanco Disorder," which shows a photo of a protest with signs saying, "We demand protection and DeBanco ruins lives." Now, I can't say for certain if this is a protest being held by the employees of DeBanco or customers, but with everything that we've seen so far, I think it's safe to say that DeBanco doesn't exactly have a great reputation right now. In a city that relies upon them for their services, they sure seem to be leaving everyone high and dry. And the times that they actually have workers to show up and do their job, crazy shit like this happens. I imagine that this is probably more common of an occurrence than DeBanco would like us to believe, and this workers' demonstration is over employees not having enough protection on the job. After reading this newspaper though, we only have to look a little bit further before finding Crystal Layden, who is hiding behind a shelf in the nearby utility closet. And after doing this and clearing the rest of the area, the mission comes to an end. Now, in my personal opinion, Thank You Come Again is the most underrated level in Ready or Not. Not only is it a really fun and easy map to clear through, but the storytelling and world design is just about as good as it gets. When a game can make me feel sympathy for a character that I never saw alive, I think that's pretty incredible, and this level does it twice. Not only that, but the lore with the Banco and then the garbage unions is just super fascinating to me. I think it's really interesting to see how small things like that we usually take for granted, when taken away, make a place a living, breathing hell. Plus, when we see these tiny details in newspapers and posters become major parts of the storyline later, that's pretty cool. I'm really excited to hear what you guys think about all of this though. Was it as impactful for you as it was for me? I'd really love to hear your thoughts down below. As always though, I really appreciate you guys tuning in for today's video. You know I love you. I'm out. Hey, what's up guys? This is post-recording Isaac, and I just wanted to let you all know that I now have an official Patreon page, right? I'll try to link it here on screen or somewhere down below, but if you really enjoy this content and you want to help me continue to make it, feel free to check out the Patreon page. For just $5 a month, you can have your name featured in all of my upcoming videos, and you'll receive access to those videos early. Now, for those of you who aren't interested, don't worry, because all of my content is still going to be hosted right here on YouTube. But if you'd like to see your name in the videos, and if you'd like to see them early, check out the Patreon. Much love. I'm out.